Hey guys and gals, today we got a 2007 Honda Odyssey that we are going to do a quick oil change. The first thing you want to do is either get some ramps or jack the front of your car up, and if you're using a jack, make sure you use jack stands. Another good idea is after you jack it or go on the ramps is to put some blocks or like wood or rocks or these kind of blocks behind your tires, and maybe turn on your parking brake just to make sure that it's not going to roll on you and you're going to be safe when you're underneath it. The things you're going to need is 5W20 oil, a new filter. This is the part number for, I believe this is the AutoZone brand. You're going to need a ratchet, which I got a little cheater pipe on mine just to make it easier for myself. This is a 1/2 inch drive, so I have a little converter for my 3/8. And it is a 16 metric socket, and I also got a little fuel filter wrench that you may or may not need depending on how strong you are and how hard your filter is screwed on. And now we're gonna head under here. We're gonna go kind of on the passenger side. Here is your oil reservoir. It says engine oil on it, so you should be able to see that. Make sure you're in the right spot. And right here is your, oh, sorry, okay, there it is. There is your drain bolt right there. You're also going to need something to catch your oil. I just have an old bucket here, but you can, my cheater bar did not fit under here, so hopefully I'm going to be able to pull this without it. We'll see. Alright, so I got it broke, so now we're just gonna loosen it up a little bit so we can use our hand. Try to get our bucket here so we don't make a huge mess. Alright. Ah, mess! Alright. Well, that was not graceful, but hopefully you do a better job. So we're gonna let that drain, and then while we're right here, I'll show you where the oil filter is. So if you just scoot back this way, it is right there. If you do spill oil on your driveway like I just did, which I do quite often, there's a couple ways to try to keep it from ruining your driveway. One, you can put sawdust on it. Two, you can put cat litter on it or dry sweep. And third, you could put cardboard down before you start just to make sure you don't splash, which is what I'm going to do before I take the filter off. One thing to note about the oil filter is that you got this piece right under it, so it's going to either, you can just take it off and let the oil drain on that. It's not really going to hurt anything, but if you want to try to keep stuff clean, you can try to funnel it past that. So you get your strap on here, and then you should just be able to put pressure on it, and it should tighten and turn. Alright, now I think I can probably go with my hand. I'm gonna try to use this plastic bag to try to run my oil into my bucket. Alright, our plastic bag is working fairly okay so far. Oh, there it goes. Alright, that's working. If you let everything come out of the drain plug over there, then you won't get that much oil over here. Alright, so we're going to get our drain plug back in. It's a good idea to replace this O-ring gasket washer, whatever you want to call it. Mine's cracked and probably should be replaced, but I didn't buy one when I was at the auto store, so I'm just going to remember to do that next time. But good idea to replace that periodically, especially if it's looking cracked like that. Next, we're gonna install our new filter, and what I like to do to make sure our O-ring seals good is get a little bit of fresh oil on my finger and rub it around this before we screw it on. Alright, so we got a little oil on our O-ring. Now we're ready to screw this back on. And we're just gonna snug it up a little bit with our filter wrench. So once it's hand tight, just get your filter wrench and, yeah, that's the right way. Just get it a little bit snugger. Another thing you can do is get yourself some brake cleaner and just spray off any areas that you got a little oil on, like I got some here. It's not essential, it will burn off, but it doesn't hurt to just clean it up a little bit right while you're down here. And if you didn't put anything down when you were taking your filter off, yeah, you can just spray some brake cleaner on here and just try to clean it up a little bit if you want to. Not necessary, just makes stuff look a little nicer. Then we're gonna need to fill our oil. It's right here in the very front. Get this off. And then you're gonna need a funnel. Mine is kind of short. You might want one a little longer just because of this angle can be kind of hard to get. I was able to squish mine down in there, but it might be easier just to have a little bit longer one so it's a little bit easier. This takes about 4.5 quarts, which is why I get the 5-quart one. And so you're just gonna start filling it up until it gets to, if you have a thing where you can see, just till it gets down here at the bottom, and then we'll start checking on our dipstick to make sure that we're all the way full. Alright, I got mine all filled up. One thing to note is to check your oil level. You need to be level. So if you jacked it up, you can let your jack down. If you were on your ramps, what I did, because I didn't want to start it until I checked my level, is I just put it in neutral, removed my blocks and my parking brake, and just let it roll backwards without turning the engine on, so that I can double check that our oil is good to go before we start it. What I'm going to do is, yeah, right here, here's your dipstick. You're going to pull this out and wipe off the end with a lint-free rag. Alright, so here's your dipstick, and what you want it to look for is the oil should be between this line and this line. So we're going to stick it in and check where ours is at. And make sure you push it all the way in. And there you can see that mine's a little bit above the line. I'm probably going to add a little bit more. This burns a little oil, so I like to have mine closer to the top. Alright, I added a little more and I'm pretty close to the top line now, so we're all set to go. Now we just got to put our cap back on, and we're all ready to start it, and we're good to go. Alright, here we go. Alright, and I like to rev it up a little bit and then recheck my oil level. Alright, so now we gotta reset our oil light, so you're gonna turn your key just forward but not on. Move to the oil thing and then push and hold for, I think it's about 10 seconds, and it should start flashing. And now we're going to push it again for, I think it's about another 5 seconds, and it should reset. And now we're good to go, so we'll have our oil life reset. And another thing I like to do is check my mileage, so I'm not completely relying on that setting. And then just right up here, I have like an old sticker, and I just write either 3,000 to 5,000 miles past whatever I'm currently at, just to give myself a reminder of when I need to change it next. If you're using just regular oil, then you want to do about 3,000 miles. If you're using synthetic, then I go about 5,000. But it's up to you and how you want to maintain your engine. You also need to dispose of your old oil. I usually put it back into an old container I have, and then you can just take it to any auto parts store like Advanced Auto, AutoZone, O'Reilly's, most of those places accept used motor oil. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe, and if you have more videos you want to see, comment below, and stay independent out there.